shocking new reporting by the New York Times this evening, which reports that the CDC, quote, drafted a sweeping order last month requiring all passengers and employees to wear masks on all form of public and commercial transportation in the United States, but it was blocked by the White House. Joining me now, Olivia Troye. She was a member of the White House Coronavirus Task Force from day one. She was the top aide to Vice President Mike Pence on coronavirus. She left the White House in August and has since been critical of the president's handling of this pandemic. Ms. Troye, thank you for taking time to be with us tonight. Let's talk about this. You say that, and you tweeted that this is absolutely true. You were in conversations where they discussed this mandate, this proposed mandate to have people wear masks on all public and commercial transit. And the airline industry was begging for this, and the White House said no.
Correct. Thank you for having me, first of all, but it is 100% accurate. These conversations have been honestly going on for months. This conversation started probably late spring, early summer, and it went through the summer. We discussed facial coverings for transportation workers. We discussed the importance for the critical infrastructure industry. And honestly, there was a lot of consent across the task force on the need for face coverings to be mandatory. And these discussions went on for a bit. Towards the end of my tenure, I remember personally actually putting this on the agenda to discuss mandatory requirements for transportation workers, because we knew that it was critical, that is just a fundamental thing to keep these people safe. And I sat in these task force meetings, and look, my dad was a lifelong truck driver. He drove truck until the day he passed away. And I kept thinking about him and the trucking industry, and I was thinking about the subways, and I was thinking about the bus drivers, and I was thinking about the airlines. I mean, the flight attendants, all of these people, and also the airlines who, I won't get into closed door discussions, but I was there where I heard from many transportation industries saying this would really help us out. It would help us out if the U.S. government would have our backs on this one. And I was shocked tonight when that article dropped, because I literally, my heart sank, and I said, how is it possible that still today this is still not a thing that will pass the threshold for this White House? It's just common sense. We're going into the fall. We're going to the winter. We need this. It's egregious.
Ms. Troye, I need to ask you, because you're one of very few people who have been in a position to be on the front lines of some of this decision making. You've worked in counterterrorism, and then you've worked on the coronavirus task force. So you're an expert at things that can kill Americans. Dr. Fauci, in the letter to Robert Redfield, said the White House will, of course, respond with fury. When they fire you, this will be a multi-week story, and you can hold your head high. Tell me about that pressure not to go up against the White House, not to go up against the president or the vice president, the political pressure, when, in fact, normal people would say, wearing a mask is inconvenient. I'm the first one to admit it. It's not as fun as not wearing a mask. But I get why I wear it. Why is there this position, and why won't sensible people speak back about it?
It's fear. It's fear that these people will completely be vindictive and destroy you. And I've been there. I have felt it. And you get concerned, and you think that they're going to destroy your reputation and everything that you have worked for your entire life, that they will just come at you and that people will believe them. And you don't know what will happen in the days to come. But look, I'm living proof that doing the right thing is really the bottom line of what matters. Having the moral courage to do this. And to Dr. Redfield, I mean, that reading that letter was like, my heart just hurt, because I've had these conversations with him. I know how much he cares, and I have seen him struggle with this every single day. And that agency, quite frankly, deserves someone to step forward and say enough. And if this doesn't give him a lifeline to say, look, we will have your back. It's okay. I know it's hard. I know that you are a man of faith, and I know how much you care, but just enough. Just come forward. It's going to be okay. You've done your career. We will all have your backs. You have an entire agency of scientists. The data is behind you, and the truth is behind you. And that's all you need. Forget the pressure. Forget these people. They don't even care about you. Certainly, we've seen that. And I guess that would be my plea to him. And I say, actually, thank goodness for that letter. And And though, I work in the national security field, I'm not a believer in leaking things. And I certainly never thought I'd ever be in the position that I am in right now where I would speak out. But at some point, this is national security. We have a duty to tell the truth.
Yes.
We have a duty to come forward and say enough. Our job is to protect the American people. And that is a very serious job that we all take seriously.
And I'll just amplify that. If you come forward and you bear witness and you speak the truth and you have right on your side, as you said, we will have your back. Olivia Troye, thank you.